In the heart of New York City, amidst the towering buildings and bustling streets, a chapter in history comes to a tragic close. On February 21st, 1965, Malcolm X is assassinated in Washington Heights. He is born Malcolm Little in Omaha, Nebraska in 1925. His father is a Baptist preacher and black nationalist. Threats from the KKK forced the family to move to Lansing, Michigan. When Malcolm is 6, his father is killed in what is officially ruled a streetcar accident, but many believe it is murder. Malcolm is taken from his family by welfare caseworkers at age 12. He drops out of high school and moves to Boston, where he gets into trouble with the law. At 21, he is convicted of burglary. In prison, he encounters the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, the leader of the Nation of Islam. The group advocates black nationalism and radical separatism. Malcolm takes the last name X to symbolize his stolen African identity. After his release, he becomes a fiery black Muslim leader in Harlem. In contrast to MLK, Malcolm advocates black liberation by any means necessary. Malcolm becomes critical of Muhammad and leaves the Nation of Islam in 1964. He is assassinated while giving a speech. Stay tuned, because coming up, we'll have more about Malcolm X's assassination. We'll also have more about Malcolm X's relationship with MLK. Also, don't forget to check out Today in History in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. Especially check out my Today in Black History warm-ups. There's a link to the store in the description. Okay, well, Malcolm X's assassination is one of the 4 major assassinations in the United States in the 1960s. It comes less than 2 years after JFK's assassination, and it comes just a little over 3 years before Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination and Robert F. Kennedy's assassination. And there's still a lot of mystery surrounding Malcolm X's assassination. 3 members of the Nation of Islam were charged, tried, convicted, and sentenced to 20 years to life. 2, however, were exonerated in 2021. 1, however, Thomas Hagen, is still in prison. He's 82 years old and has been denied parole each time he's tried. Hagen has said that he planned the shooting of Malcolm X with 4 others, but maintains that the other 2 men that were convicted along with him were never a part of it. Hagen has also said that the assassination was done as revenge for Malcolm X's criticism of Nation of Islam leader Elijah Muhammad. Now, there are those that maintain, however, that like with JFK's assassination, there was a government conspiracy. Let's get now to MLK and Malcolm X's relationship. Malcolm X once derisively called MLK Reverend Dr. Chicken Wing. And as author James Cone says, quote, "King was a political revolutionary. Malcolm was a cultural revolutionary. Malcolm changed how black people thought about themselves," end quote. MLK and Malcolm X are often, maybe too simplistically, seen as polar opposites. Yes, they definitely had very different religious views, and yes, they most definitely espoused very different methods when it came to achieving civil rights. But this idea of them being pitted against each other was in many ways a creation of the media. They had many mutual friends, but they did meet only once, and this was on March 26th, 1964. And this was an unplanned meeting. It was on the street after MLK had given a press conference. Anyway, as the movement progressed, they began to express more and more respect and admiration for one another. In fact, in later life, they were gravitating toward each other. Malcolm X especially was becoming less extreme. The best example of this is probably in Selma, Alabama, just 17 days before his death. And this is in the midst of the very famous and very important nonviolent efforts there in Selma. There were young civil rights workers there who had invited Malcolm X to speak. But there was some hesitancy at what he might say. Martin Luther King Jr. was actually in jail in Selma at the time. He and 250 others had been arrested a few days before during a protest. If King had not been in prison, it's possible that he would have tried to block it, but being in jail there wasn't much he could do. Now, what Malcolm X said was quite surprising to many. First of all, he said that he was 100% behind the effort in Selma. He also went on to say, quote, "People would do well to listen to Dr. King and give him what he's asking for, and give it to him fast, before some other factions come along and try to do it another way. What he's asking for is right." End quote. If you liked what you've seen here today, please like and subscribe. And also remember, you can watch a great Mr. Lewis video right here. And you know what? Right here, I think this one's even better. You don't want to miss either of these. Thanks again for watching.